Hello and welcome to another episode of Mid-Island Custom Diecast. My name is Evan, and today's build is the Beefeaters International for December. It's the Matchbox Jaguar XK 120. Here's a look at what we're starting with. It's a cream colored Matchbox with the red interior, super fast wheels. It's got the plastic chromed insert in the front with a red interior, and it is missing the windshield. You can see number 414 on the side. This casting is quite play worn, and so we'll be giving it a complete overhaul today and trying out a couple of new techniques I haven't tried before, and we'll see if we can't find a new windshield. Alright, let's get going. So we're going to start by drilling out the posts. We'll apply a little bit of oil to it and hit it with the big drill bit. I believe it's 4mm maybe, I'm not sure. We'll knock the mushrooms off the post, pop it open with the trusty screwdriver. Let's look at the interior. Pretty decent detail, I guess. These wheels are clamped in with the metal crimps. Here's the plastic grill piece and bumper. We'll put that in the easy off and take that beaten up chrome off, and we will clean up the posts so it fits, the base fits on nice and tight without any obstruction. There we go. Apply a little bit more oil and hit it with the 1.7mm drill bit. This is big enough to use a self-tapping screw with, and I normally do, but for some reason this time I chose to oil up the tap, and give it some threads to accept a 256 screw. I use a Phillips head, button head screw, black oxide finish, and here it is going in. Nice and easy. This casting has 2 posts. Alright, so like I said, the wheels are crimped in with those metal crimps, which are very difficult to open up. So because we're going to do a wheel swap, we'll just cut the axles and pull them through. Later we'll be having to open up those crimps anyway, but we'll get there. Here's a new stripper that I picked up at Home Depot. It does seem to be working better than my last one. As you can see here, this is sped up about 500%. So in just a matter of a few minutes, we had all the paint all nice and bubbled. And it came off pretty easy, but we put the lid on this and close it up for a little while. Here is the base and body out of the stripper with just a toothbrush cleaning. You can see we've got most of the paint off, just a few little bits and pieces here and there. So the base will get the brass wire wheel treatment. I find the stainless steel wheel scratches up the base metal too much, so we'll give this just quick little buff up, and we are going to paint it later. The body gets the stainless wire wheel. This just removes any oxidation as well as any bits and pieces of paint stuck in the crevices. After the wheeling, we'll take the needle files and just hit. There's a real bad casting line that sort of goes across the headlights and the hood here. You can sort of see it there. So we'll work extremely fast at removing those. Just kidding, that's obviously sped up. There was some casting lines around the back too, but we won't bore you too much with that process. Once we get those off, we switch to some sandpaper just to smooth out some of the body panels. The side doors were really indented, so I took some time to go over those, try to make it a little flatter. And of course the fenders needed some rounding off, so everything turned out pretty nice. After the sanding was all done and the filing, we went over it with the Scotch-Brite pad. After the Scotch-Brite pad, we went with 4/0 steel wool over the whole body, and then washed it down with some degreaser before putting some primer on it. Here's the base, getting the same treatment with the Scotch-Brite attachment. This doesn't get all the depressions very well, but it did scuff it up enough and kind of polished up the top. If we were going to not paint it, probably would have been good enough just with the Scotch-Brite treatment, but there it is. So now this is the grill out of the Easy Off. You can see a little bit there that the grill is real messed up. So just taking this little craft knife and trying to clean up the grill marks. That came out okay, not great. Here is the Tamiya primer. Grill and bumper gets the primer. Here we go. Nice coat. And the same primer coat on the body. Make sure you get in those wheel wells. This casting has quite a few little indents and crevices and things. The paint doesn't really get in well, so made sure we turned it around and tilted it back and forth, got it all in there. And the base is going to get black primer, I think, from Duplicolor is what I used on this. And you get it in there, the little wheel well spots, and a couple of coats on the bottom. And then the interior gets the white primer as well. And then after we set all the primered pieces aside to dry, it's at about this point I realize that I'm going to need to open up those crimps on the base to accept some tubes for the wheels that I am going to put on this. So we opened that up with a 1.6mm drill bit, marked up the length of the axle tubes we need, cut them off, clean them up with the cutoff disc. I've seen Keith from Outlaw Speed Shop using this method, and I have not cut my fingers off yet, and nor has he, so I'll continue to do it. Open up the holes with the dental pick. And so the wheels I've chose are either this one or this one. And I thought that was a bit too JDM style, so go with the chromies. And since they're not quite wide enough, we're going to mark the middle and cut the axle. And then we can slide those into the tubes. Just like so. I'm going to just fit them in here for now and make sure that the clearance is good and I don't have to do any modification to the body, which I don't. Looks good, spins good. So now I've cut some grooves into the axle tubes with the cutoff disc to put some super glue in there. I just sort of dab it in, make sure it gets it inside the tube. And then we eventually push the wheels in, push the axle into the tube, and make sure there's enough room for it to spin. There we go. Sometimes the dental pick is just the right amount to space it out, and we got good spinners. There we go. The glue dries pretty quick sometimes. Here is the base with the tires all fitted in, and I did not damage the paint on the bottom, so sweet. Good roller. Now we take the black is dark black gray. I can't remember what that just said. That's the paint I've chosen for the body. I saw a real Jaguar XK 120 on Google with this almost exact same color, so that's what we're doing. And on the base, the details get the silver Sharpie. I've done both the Molotow Chrome and the silver Sharpie for the base. And apologies for the camera, I keep bumping it with my head. But anyway, I've used Molotow and I've used Sharpie, and I really just prefer, for the base anyway, the Sharpie gives it enough sort of detail and definition without going over the top. I mean, it's the bottom of a car. How much money are you going to spend on chrome down there? Anyway, here we are just wrapping that up. Looks good. So now I've gone ahead and taped off sort of the ring around the interior and bust out the airbrush for a rare appearance in one of my builds with the brown, a little bit of a brown paint that I mixed up. It's like a burnt umber and a little bit of black mixed together for a little darker brown. And we'll go ahead and take the tape off, and prayer hands everybody if you believe in that. If not, just hope I do it. And as we take the tape off, we are finding that this is almost exactly perfect. Really no runs. I didn't scratch the paint or pull any paint off with the tape or anything. So almost got her there. Pretty happy with that. And we'll go ahead and paint the interior with the same color at the same time off camera. So we'll put a little bit of tape around the, I guess you call them rear bumpers. Hit those with the Molotow pen. And the front headlights, I chose this sanding the paint off method. It's not as shiny as the Molotow pen, but I did kind of like the look of it, and I think I'm going to try it a little more. I've seen other guys do it with the knife, but I kind of like those sanding sticks. Gives me a little, makes me worry a little less about a slip. We did the same on the rear number plate, license plate, whatever you want to call it. And this we worked on for a good 15 minutes, and you'll see at the reveal how that came out, which I think gives it a good definition against those chrome bumpers right next to it and the handle on the boot lid. So I ordered these stickers from a guy on eBay, Jeff Sinfeld, I think his name is. He has some decals, and these are a sticker paper. Here we're just doing some little details in the interior. It's not super detailed, but we do chrome silver for the interior section of the wheel and the steering column. And then we added some Nuln Oil to the seats, obviously. So here's what we started with, and while I'm putting it back together, we'll have a look at that. And now here's where we ended up. You can see the windshield in there. I didn't get any footage of it because I fiddled with it for quite a while. It's off Shelby Cobra casting. It's not perfect and it doesn't fit great, but it's just sort of held in there with some micro crystal clear, so if I decide to fix it up later, it'll come off pretty easy. Those wheels, I can't remember where those wheels are from. They're either a Treads, I think they're a Treads 164 with a monoblock tire on them. You can see the chromed out front grille and bumper. That's Molotow. And, you know, I think everything turned out pretty good with this one. So I appreciate you guys leaving your comments down below. Please like and subscribe if you haven't. I want to thank the guys at the Beefeaters for extending these invitationals to all of us builders out here, and giving us a bit of an opportunity to do whatever casting we want under the same theme is kind of nice. Anyway, I will leave you with a few shots, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.